guys, it is April from Getting Hygge With It. I am in a slightly different setting today. I'm sitting by the fire in my cozy armchair in my living room, and I'm going to do the Try a Chapter tag, but a horror edition. So I want to read a horror novel. I'm in the mood to be spooked out. And yeah, I have quite a few to choose from. So number one is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. Now this would be my first Stephen King if I decide to go that route. Number two is Seed. Number three is Hidden Bodies. This is the second portion to You by Carolyn Kepnes, and I really liked You, so who knows. Four is Black Water. This is a series, so I'm going to be doing the first in the series, The Flood. And the fifth is The Girl from Raw Blood. So the way that Try a Chapter tags work is I sit here, I read the first chapter of all of these books, and then at the end of them, I choose my next book. So I'll let you know as I go along what I think of them so far. First up, I am going to read the first chapter of Pet Sematary. So I'll read that and I'll come back to you. So I just finished the first chapter. It was really short. This book follows a doctor who moves from Chicago to a small town in Maine. And in the first chapter, they are basically in the car lugging the whole family out to their new house, which is a New England colonial house, those are always a bit spooky. And they arrive and everybody is very excited about the house, and he's thrilled that they are because he spent a small fortune on the house. Nothing really sucked me in right away. Of course, it was really short, so maybe I should read a few more chapters, but that is not what we do here on Try a Chapter Tag. So next up, I am going to try Seed. Okay, so that was really fun. Seed follows this man and his family are driving on really, really dark, old country roads. He has to put on his beamers because it's that dark. And just as he's doing that, his headlights flash and an animal runs out in front of the car. He actually flips his car a bunch of times and crashes. And while he's crashing, he's thinking, was that an animal or was that a human? And also, I've seen those eyes before. So you find out how his family is doing from the crash, obviously, and then you follow him kind of remembering back to his childhood and where he's seen the eyes before, which are these soulless eyes. He lived in the country with his family in this kind of old rundown house. And he one day stumbles upon this cemetery. It's like a family plot. It's not a city cemetery. So he stumbles upon this cemetery, and at first he wants to tell everybody about it, and then he realizes it's his own like secret little place. So he doesn't tell anybody. And then one day he sees this person. He's not sure if it's an animal or a human, and he sees these eyes, and now they've come back to haunt him, and he's petrified. And only one person in his family also saw them. His wife didn't, but one of his kids did. So that was actually really fun. That one drew me in. So we shall see. The next one is Hidden Bodies. I just finished the first chapter of Hidden Bodies, and this is fun. We're meeting Joe again. So Joe is the main character from the book You by Carolyn Kepnes. What is really cool about You is that Joe is a stalker. And so you're reading kind of a horror thrillery novel from the perspective of the bad guy, which is super fun. So in Hidden Bodies, Joe is at it again. He's just started dating a girl named Amy, and she works with him at the bookshop. And he's decided that this time around, he's going to do everything perfectly with Amy, because the last time he kind of screwed things up, and he actually left something at the scene of a crime, and he's never going to make that mistake again. So this is kind of enticing because you remember the crime that was committed in You, kind of want to find out what has happened and how he's going to screw up this time. Next up, I'm going to read the first book in the Black Water series called The Flood. So I just finished the first chapter in The Flood, and I really, really liked it. It's really eerie. So it's set in 1919 in Alabama, and this town in Alabama has been flooded, and all of its citizens have fled to like higher ground. So this one white man who's like the rich white man of the town, and a black man who works for him, they get into a little rowboat and they're going through this flooded town, and they're looking at their houses and everything. They go up to this one hotel, and this rich man says, "Wait a second, I think I saw something move in the window." And the worker is like, no, it's just rats, it can't be anything. And so the rich man like forces them to go up to this window, and they look inside and they can't see anything except for the fact that this one room is totally immaculate. Like the bed is made perfectly, everything looks wonderful, and yet the room right beside it is in shambles, as it would be in a flood. And they look again, and they see a woman with her back to them, sitting on the bed in this immaculate room. And they're shocked, and they call out to her, and she says, "Oh, I've been waiting for you guys. I've been sitting here for days." And she asks if there's any room in the boat. She gets into the boat. So I'm really eager to find out who this woman is. Is she actually a survivor who was mistakenly forgotten, or is something more interesting happening here? This one really has my attention. But I do have one more book that I need to check out, and that is The Girl from Raw Blood. So I just finished the chapter from The Girl from Raw Blood, and it was interesting. So the storyline of this novel is that this family has this kind of curse. It's meant to be a congenital disease that's passed on from generation to generation. And this girl is meant to get this as well. So she promises her father that she will never marry, and so that it stops with her, basically. So when these people get this disease, she comes. You don't know who she is, but she comes. She is white, skeletal, covered with scars. Her origins are a mystery, but her purpose is clear. So it sounds like this kind of witch lady comes. But the first chapter of this book follows Iris, the main character, and she and a friend of hers, I think, this like boyfriend of hers, stumble upon a horse who has died but has left this foal. They are kind of bickering back and forth as to whether or not they should let this baby horse live. She is able to convince him to let it live, but that's the main chapter. I wasn't totally drawn into it. I am not sure about that one. I think what I'm going to actually end up going with is Blackwater, The Flood, because the image of the woman on the bed with her back turned to them, it just creeped me out right away. Anywho, I hope that you liked this Try a Chapter Tag horror edition. Let me know if you want me to do more of these. I might try different kinds of genres, maybe once a month or once every 2 months or something. But I really like doing this kind of thing. So let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye!